Hello and welcome. In this video we are going to begin with the new tutorial series based on MirrorsEdge. So without further ado, let's go ahead and download all the necessary things we need. Go into your Window tab, hit Asset Store. We're gonna go ahead and download a couple of the assets needed for our game. Let's go ahead and search for raw mocap. This is the Unity package that is free with all the necessary animations and characters we're gonna be using. It has 121 megabytes. Go ahead and download it and import it. Once it's downloaded, you will be prompted with a window like this. Select everything by default and hit import. Okay, so once it's done importing, we will search for the Fantasy Skybox, free only, and let's go ahead and download that one. Download and import. Okay, so once it starts importing, we'll go ahead and close the Asset Store tab. I have this from before. Okay, so this is what we get. Let's go ahead and create, actually in the Scene tab, create our plane. Actually, let's go ahead and create a cube. I don't know how it's going to work. Put the X scale about 100 and Z 100. Make a folder called colors. Every obstacle will have different colors, so we can differentiate them. Excuse me. So the ground will have, let's say, dark blue. Go ahead and drag and drop that. Change the color to something like dark blue. Okay, we almost forgot. Go to Window, Lighting. We want to change the skybox to open the Fantasy Skybox free folder. Go into Materials and change to 1,2D Sun 1A. Actually, you can change to any. This is my favorite. You can even put the night. It looks really nice, actually, both of them. I'll actually keep the night one. Okay, so now that we have everything neat up, let's go ahead and let's import our character. So this is the character we're going to be using. Let's go ahead and drag and drop that here. Okay, first of all, we're gonna have to change it a little bit, but let's go ahead and create a new script which we will call player movement script and attach it to the default avatar. It's compiling. Always make sure your script is compiled and then drag and drop it over there. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up. We're gonna be making our character walk forward, backward, and rotate by the mouse. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's delete this first. Let's go void update. Everything, I forgot to mention, everything will be done by the animation movement. We will not use scripts for that one. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is actually apply the animation for the forward and backward movement. So we're just going to go ahead and say call a method called animation walking I really don't know how to name this. I never have any ideas. Okay, and this will be connected to the animator controller, which we're going to be creating later. Okay, so first of all, we need a variable called public animator. Let's just say call it animator. Spell that one. Okay, so in animator, you will be able to create also variables that you can connect to the scripts that will trigger the animations, and this is what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to go ahead and say animator dot set float called walk forward value, and we're going to be passing a float value of input dot get axis vertical, which is basically the input W S up arrow key, VS arrow up, arrow down. These are the movements. Vertical axis is, the keys. The next thing we're going to be doing is applying the sideways movement. We're going to go ahead and say animator dot set float sidewalk value is going to be input. We're going to pass another value, which is input dot get axis horizontal. Now these are the inputs A, D, left arrow, right arrow. So these are these, and let's actually go ahead and include sprinting in this one. Let's say animator dot set boolean, since it's gonna be bool. We're gonna go ahead and say sprint, comma. The next one is going to be a variable called sprint, and close that up. We will trigger that by shift key. Okay, let's make this variable public. Actually, we don't need it to be public. We're just gonna go ahead and say private bool sprint. Excuse me for this one. Okay, and here we want to be checking if we are sprinting or not. Let's actually do it here. Just call a method for sprinting, which will handle the input of the shift key, void sprint, and what we want to do is say if input get key down, key code shift left shift. We want the sprint to turn to true, and if input get key up, key code left shift, sprint to be negative, false. So every time we press left shift, sprint will turn to true, and once we release it, it will turn to false. Okay, so I think this is it for this code in this video. Now let's go to a little bit something new. Jump back into Unity, wait for it to compile. Now you will notice how it asks for an animator, which is this one. But animator asks for a controller, which will be used for the animation transitions. And the thing what we're going to be using is something called, go ahead and create an animator controller. We'll call it player movement controller. And let's go ahead and assign that controller to our player, default avatar. And yeah, The next thing I want to do is to create a new folder called used animations, so we can keep track of what animations we are using and which we are not. So for the walk animation, let's go ahead and find some into raw mocap data. Just hit animations. The first one is going to be the idle animation, which we're going to use on the startup, and if we are doing nothing at all. Let's go ahead and play that one to see what it's doing. So it's just standing, rubbing his nose. Okay, let's do that one. It's nice. He does nothing, he just stands. Okay, we can use that one. So let's go ahead and drag and drop this animation into our new folder called used animations. Next thing, let's go actually ahead and find ourselves a walk animation, which is called walk forward, which is this one, and we're actually gonna use that one since it's pretty nice. Okay, drag and drop that down here, and the next thing we're gonna be using is the running, which we're gonna be using as run. I think it's not that one, I think it's into sprinting. Run impulse. Okay, that one looks good, but I really don't want to use that one. In my video, in my preview video, I used another one. Let me just sprinting, running. Run forward. I think I used that one. Okay, yeah. So the hands move as he runs, and it's nicely previewed on the camera, which we'll be using in our advantage. So let's go ahead and just drag and drop that one here. And for this one, we also need the walking for the backwards. Walk backwards. Okay, perfect. Use that one. And actually we will need to use the side movement, which is the walk, void, walk, or is it? I think it's in turning. Walk. That one. Okay, let's leave out the side walking for now. We'll just keep it simple. Let's go ahead and rename these so we can find them easily. This is the idle. Run forward. Walk backward. This will be walk forward. Okay, one more thing. We want to have the apply root motion enabled, so when our character moves, we won't be using the code, we will be using animations to move our character. And yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and double click the controller thing. Now this is something new, maybe you never messed with this one. Basically you will figure out what it works now, how it works, I'm sorry. Okay, so first let's go ahead and drag and drop our idle. Now you can see it instantly created a connection from the entry, which is probably when the scene is run. It creates something, what is it called? A transition, that's right, to the idle, and we'll run this animation. And yeah, basically we want to also say the loop time. So every time our animation finishes, it will loop in the game. So you want to go on idle, select loop time, apply, and that's it. Now if we, where's our, so let's reset the X and Z values like this. Now if we hit play, you can see that that is the animation we applied, and it's working pretty well. Okay, as you can see, when you select the player from the hierarchy in the animator, you can see which animation is being run and on which segment it is, and all the transitions. Okay, so let's, this is going to be a long one, let me check the time. Okay, I will hurry up. So these values will be the values inside the animator, which we're going to add now, which is not the new layer, excuse me. So go into parameters tab, this little plus, hit float, and name it walk forward value. Next one is sidewalk value, which we're actually not using, so I'm just going to go ahead and comment that out. And the last one is sprint, which is a boolean, which is going to be called sprint. Okay, next thing we want to do is the walk forward animation. Okay, it's compiling. So basically it is pretty much fine. So what we want to do is just drag and drop it, and we want to make our first transition. Right click onto the idle, make transition, and click on the transition link. It has exit time, because if this is selected, this animation walk forward will run only when the idle is finished. So we don't want that, we want this to transition when our requirements are met, which is the, you hit on this little plus, which is the walk forward value, if it's greater than 0.2. And the axis move is basically on 0. If you hit forward, it will go up to 1. If it's negative for backward, it will go to -1. So if this is greater than 0.2, we will make a transition go forward, and one make transition go backward, which is also disabled. It has exit time. If the walk forward value is less than 0.2, we want to go back into our idle. Let's go ahead actually and add the sprint one. Run forward. So if make transition, disable the has exit time. We want to go from this one to this one only if the walk forward value is greater than 0.6, and if the sprint is boolean, I mean true, boolean, and make a transition back, hit on the link, disable the has exit time. If walk is less than 0.6, actually let's say 0.5, yeah, if it's less than 0.6, and if the sprint is false. Okay, actually we want to only say if the sprint is false, so just delete this one. And here also we want to only check if the sprint is true or false. So when you click on the link, you can see here we have a preview button which will preview the transition. So this is for the running animation. We will edit it now. This is when it goes from idle to the walk forward. Okay, this looks pretty nice. Okay, so as you have noticed, something is wrong with this one. It stops and then it freezes. We'll have to cut out our animation. which we'll do now. First of all, we want to check the loop time, because if it's going to be looping in run forward, if the player holds shift continuously, you want to continuously run. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this one out. And I will pause it here. I will move this slider about here. And I want to meet the exact same position. Something about here. Okay, so if you hold on Windows Ctrl or on Mac command, you can zoom into this one, or actually, how do you, oh, I just double clicked it. Oh no, this is not the, oh, you just scroll the wheel onto this one. And the one I want to cut here is, let me see, the, how do I, okay, so we said we want the left hand to go up to meet that motion again. So it's here. You can see it, these little lights. This, it tells you how much the loop matches. Let's see. Okay, I think this is pretty much okay for our needs. And go down below and hit apply. So now if we check this one, it will go from walking to running, and it will work just fine. Okay, actually that's it. Let's go ahead into our scene. If I hit W, it will walk. If I press on the shift, it should run. And actually, let's go ahead. Oh, this is not what I wanted to do. Where is our, okay, so if, how do I focus? So if I hit forward, it will run. If I release the shift, it will start walking again, and we'll come to the end of the world. Okay, and let's add the backward animation. Sorry. Oh. Okay, so the backward animation will be walk backward. I think this one is, okay, we'll have to cut it as well. First of all, select the loop time. We want to find the moment it starts walking backwards. Okay, somewhere here. Why doesn't it? Oh. Okay. From somewhere here. You can actually watch the loop match. It will tell you. Okay, this isn't much. Okay, this is okay, I think. Go down there and hit apply. And drag and drop that one below. Make a transition. Hit on the link. Disable the has exit time. Go down and add the parameter. If forward value is less than 0 minus 0.2, we want to walk backward, and create a back one, which also disable has exit time. Say if the walk forward value is greater than minus 0.2. So if we hit play again, if I hit backward, it will walk. The animation is choppy for the back one because I cut it. It's not perfect, but you can make it better. And if I hit shift, it runs. If I hit back, Now this is it for the first one. Stay tuned. In the next one we're going to be making the rotation and the jumping, I guess. We'll see how much time. This one took a lot of time. Okay, so stay tuned. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you want for more videos like this. See you till next time.